Hello, beautiful mom, and welcome back. And have you ever noticed that some days you feel like the most amazing mom? Everything flows, you feel creative, calm, you play with your kids, and it all comes easy and natural. And other days, nothing. Like there is just pure overwhelm, exhaustion, and you're tired, and you wonder, like, what's wrong with me? Or what can I do? I don't want to feel this way. And how about the answer is nothing? Today, I'm so happy and I love this topic. We're going to talk about our natural rhythm that most women of us were never taught to understand and that we're actually kind of completely ignoring it. So, let's do a deep dive. And if you're new to this channel, I'm Kathleen and I'm helping overwhelmed moms who want to stop yelling, who feel buried in their schedules, who have too many shoulds on their plates, just feel a little bit more clarity, a little bit more calm, and maybe the most important thing, to feel like they're in control of their lives again instead of life running their lives, if that made any sense. So let's dive straight in. If you want more tools, like I made a wonderful audio track, like 3 audio tracks called A Moment for You, each less than 3 minutes, to help you reset, to help you ground, and to help you energize. Just grab them in the link below in the description and they're going to help you. But today we're going to talk about cycles, and mostly women's cycles. But before we dive really deep into the women's cycle, let's talk about our society. We're living in a modern life that is designed around the male cycle. And the male energy cycle is, 24 hours. So it has a simple 24-hour rhythm. They wake up, you produce, you repeat, and you start every day fresh, like you're done. Like I'm not saying there's no difference in men or whatever, but they have their 24-hour rhythm. But as women, we have a completely different one, because our menstrual cycle, which is our natural rhythm, is 28 days long in average. And that's completely different than 24 hours. We're talking 28 days. And every day in these 28 days, our hormones are completely different from each other. And in these, there are 4 main phases we're going to look in. And in these phases, we're having different needs. We're having different behaviors in many ways. Like our brain is changing and our body is hormonally changing. So this is physically. We can actually see that when we start to put, I don't even know how this is called, like these things on the head. We can see how our brain is changing. And men don't have that. And that doesn't mean that we're better or worse. It's just we're different. But our society is made for men. And we're trying to fit in. And it's kind of not working that well for us. And I wish one day that the world acknowledges both cycles and can integrate in our society both cycles, because they have such a big impact. So when you try to perform every day the same day as we're expected, so we feel at times very often exhausted, we feel overwhelmed, we're failing, we're tired, because we're women, we're not meant to perform every day like yesterday. So we're just ignoring our rhythm. And if this is completely new to you, just think about it. The moon has its rhythm. The moon in the sky is growing and it's disappearing again. We have a new moon, we have a full moon. It's growing. Every project has a season. We're having 4 seasons in most parts of the world, and even if not, then there's parts where it's raining more than or less. So in general, we're having 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Every project has the season. Just think about something you might do. You start dreaming and maybe brainstorming. Then you start to share, connect, and build. Then you refine and finish. And then eventually there is rest, reflection before you might start over. You realize this is not working and we're not doing it again. And understanding this rhythm, even in our society, will help you, because you might just you give yourself a little break. But now let's dive in. And we're doing this the simple version. I actually do have a podcast where I go much deeper. So I can link that in the description below and you can check out the podcast episodes. And let's just get started. And don't you worry, you don't need to memorize this. So there will going to be some names here. Just remember, this is something, and start to listen to your body. So the first phase is the spring phase. So that's after your menstruation. I think for most of us, the cycle starts with the menstruation, but for some reason, in books and in clinical ways, this starts after the menstruation. Maybe makes sense because that's when spring is, yeah? And it's called the follicular phase. And as you can imagine, springtime, follicular phase, that's when your energy is rising. Your energy is growing. This is the place when you are more creative, when you can plan, when you want to start things. You maybe start to feel more outgoing. You'll feel more curious and open, and also from the movements again. You know, this is a phase where you start to feel more energy. So your exercise can also embrace that. You might want to go for a run or go for a little bit of Zumba class and try something new you might have never tried before. And also food-wise, this is the time to eat light, fresh foods, colorful foods, and just is a very playful phase. So then we're moving into summer, which is the ovulatory phase. This is your peak energy. That's when we're fertile. And just literally imagine hormonal, and we're not going into hormones here, but hormonal in this phase when we're fertile, when we can actually receive sperm, which is already, we as a woman, we have an egg that is receiving sperm. We're not active going out and searching the sperm. But for the sperm to come to us, or the man coming to us, we're actually sending out lots of hormones. This is the time we're glowing. This is the time where we're feeling good. Like some people might have noticed, your skin is looking in this phase much, much nicer than when you menstruate. This is the phase because now we're needing to radiate. Now we need to attract the guys because, you know, now we can have a baby. And people see that. So this is the perfect place to really build social connection. This is the time when you're really outgoing, where you're ready to step into visibility and share ideas. And if you want a pay rise, or you want to ask if you can schedule it, have a job interview, this is the best time to do it. Actually, I know this is almost hard to do, but if you can, just give it a shot. So this is the time where things actually come fairly easy to you, and you're just literally magnetic. This is the time also to really exercise. This is your peak performance energy. So if you're a competition or a competitor and you want to run whatever marathon, or you want to do a special climb, this is the perfect time where you're energetically, your body is ready to perform. So perfect for big Zumba lessons or whatever you want to do, like hot yoga, Bikram yoga, or CrossFit or whatever. This is a perfect time for women to do. And again, food-wise, just think about summer, what you think. It's a lot of bright food. It's a lot of, fruits and fresh food and anything that gives you energy. And at the same time, where your metabolism doesn't need to digest too hard. So you can actually use the fuel instead of sitting there and just like having to digest. And then comes autumn phase, the luteal phase, where the moon is kind of vanishing. It's getting smaller, where your energy starts slowly to turn inwards. Energetically, this is time where we reorganize, where we finish tasks, where we look at things, what is working, what did we like, where we harvest, where we're refining details. And here, literally, your intuition gets stronger, and at the same time, you will need to set clearer boundaries. You know how it is when you pack up your house for the winter. Like, I live in Norway at the coast. We're having so many storms in the winter. We literally need to pack up. We put down the trampoline from the kids, all the toys, all the outdoor stuff, all has to be either wrapped and strapped and really tightened somewhere, or that has to be put away. That's autumn for us, where we harvest the last fruit, like the last potatoes, the last apples, and these things. And again, here, you can imagine now, I mentioned the foods already. This is going to be a phase where we need to ground ourselves much more. So we want to eat much more root vegetable. Most often we want to have warm foods. So stews and soups will feel much more nourishing than having, a light salad. That fits much better for summer. And at the same time, just think about exercising. This isn't anymore the time to go really hardcore and to stretch your body. Your body wants warmth, it wants comfort, it wants nurturing. So here we have to actually start slowing down with exercises. Maybe rather go for a walk than for a run. Or, take it in yoga class a little bit easier. Or, don't stretch yourself anymore because your body actually wants to chill down. And then we're going into winter. It's your menstrual phase. And this is the time, literally, for rest and reflection. I'm going to give you a little bit, I'm not going into the hormones itself, but just imagine your brain. We're having the right and the left hemisphere in our brain, and in between, just imagine there is a wall. And during this time, hormonally, the connection between these brains is so much stronger. And historically, if you go back, for example, to the Incas and the Mayas, but you also find it in old Egypt, women in that phase were considered the wise women, particularly when they had older and life experience, because they knew when they were in their menstrual phase or in the new moon phase, if you speak to the moons because you don't have a menstrual cycle anymore, they were more intuitive because their brain was just much more, how shall I say? Yeah, it was just much more, everything was more connected. You're in that time of rest and reflection, you're not gonna have peak performances physically. So when we speak exercising, either take a break completely, go for a short, nice walk, really some yin yoga where you sit in a pose longer and just taking it really, really gentle. And food the same, we have to ground now. So soups, porridge, stews, like anything, even warm applesauce will feel much better than a fresh apple right now. And I feel in our society, particularly the autumn and the winter phase, we almost pretend it doesn't exist. We don't like it. We don't appreciate it. And it is the time for slowing down, for journaling, for evaluating what worked, and for rest and care before you start all over again. And it's actually a little bit sad because I think if we acknowledge this phase and we can actually really embrace it, this is the phase where we're most intuitive. This is the phase where we, so to say, where we know more than ever what's right and wrong. And like I said, historically, we have used this. Women in these phases have made the big decision. It wasn't actually men, it was women in that phase. And just so I don't remember the name, but some personal trainers, they have specialized in that cycle, recognizing this hormonal level. So if you, for example, want to lose weight as a woman, you need to know that cycle, because if you're trying to just be aggressive and try and peak performance while you're in a menstruation, your body is going to fight you. So you have it much easier if you understand that rhythm and go with that rhythm also for your exercise to increase your strength, lose weight if that's what you want, and really feel better and stronger in your body. And I feel as a mom, I know this myself sometimes, like when I go into my menstruation phase and all I want to do is snuggle down and you have kids running around and needing attention, I literally check in, what can go? Can we cancel a play date? Can I outsource something? Can I ask something to help me with dinner or bring dinner? Like, I literally go, how can I make these days as easy as possible? As a mom, we always need to be there to some extent and we need to perform. I can't say I have my menstruation and today I'm not going to do anything. That would be amazing. We know this isn't working, but we actually can look, where can we slow down? Maybe we just go for a tiny walk instead of trying to go for this big adventure of hike with the family. Or like I said, can we make dinner easier? Is there anything in the freezer we can use up? To really understand this, because then we understand our emotions. When we understand the rhythm, we also know we're having phases where we're more social and phases where we're not that social. And acknowledging that and listening to that rhythm, making decisions after the rhythm. I had one woman I was working with who had a lot of PMS system, and we were just working on that rhythm. And one of the feedback was at the end, knowing I'm actually allowed to take a rest and that I'm supposed to take a rest took the pressure off. And a lot of her PMS symptoms we could completely clean up within 3 months, just acknowledging the rhythm, changing exercise regime, changing a bit food and a few other things. And she was a completely different person. Like, my PMS is gone. I'm actually be able to live during my uh, through my menstrual phase without having all this pain and needing to take painkillers. But also to know and acknowledge this is a time to take rest. It's okay. It's maybe not so nice to meet up with friends. And again, for everyone, this is slightly different, but we do have that rhythm, all of us. So when you live with the natural rhythm, you will notice that you can harvest your creativity more. You can just get much more intuitive what's the right step to take. If you take the breaks when needed, rest when your body asks for it, connect, finish, sharpen, and you're going to feel much less like you're fighting something that is inherently us. This is, I mean, I think this is so amazing. Like, this is our goddess power. So let's just really use it. So today, just check in. Where are you? Even if you don't know, it's kind of like, where do you feel you might be? And what does it tell you? And is there any small thing you can do? Like I said, if you're in a menstrual phase, can you get something off your plate? If you're in the summer phase, is there a hard conversation? Then do it now. Don't wait. And it's always like, let's do this together. There is no perfection. And if you want to know more about this rhythm and learn about your rhythm, just send me a message, write a comment. I love reading comments. And check out the audio track, because it will help you to kind of just feel more grounded, for you to figure out your rhythm and follow it more. And as always, from one widely rooted mama to another, let's keep growing and glowing together.